Have you ever paused in a quiet moment, maybe after an intimate encounter, and noticed something feels different than it used to? The firmness that was once a source of confidence may have faded just a bit, or the angle that once stood tall now points a little lower. Perhaps you've caught yourself in the mirror and wondered if time has been quietly changing more than just the hair on your head or the lines around your eyes. For many men after 60, these subtle changes can feel like an unwelcome signal of aging, something to be endured rather than challenged. But what if that assumption wasn't true? What if there was a way, grounded in science and entirely within your control, to restore strength, improve blood flow, and even enhance the way your size appears, all in just a few minutes each day? No pills, no surgery, no strange gadgets, just you and the muscles you already carry inside your body, waiting to be awakened. This isn't a story about magic or miracle cures. It's about anatomy, training, and a truth many men were never told. Those same hidden muscles that hold the key to better bladder control and core strength are also the silent guardians of your erection's power, stability, and fullness. In the deep basin of your pelvis lies a network of muscles most people never think about until something goes wrong. These are not the biceps you flex in the mirror or the calves you feel after a long walk. They are smaller, deeper, and perhaps even more vital to a man's quality of life than any visible muscle group. Among them, two slender but mighty strands, the bulbocavernosus and the ischiocavernosus, stand out for their role in sexual performance. They are not merely spectators. They are active participants in every moment of arousal, working to trap blood within the erectile chambers and maintain the upward lift that is so closely associated with virility. When these muscles are engaged properly, they compress veins at the base of the penis, keeping blood where it belongs. They reinforce the structure from within, creating that steady, confident angle of youth. And when they weaken, which they inevitably do if left untrained, blood escapes more quickly, firmness fades, and the physical presence that once felt unshakable becomes less certain. It's tempting to blame hormones, or to think of these changes as nature's unalterable clock. And yes, testosterone levels shift over time, but the decline in firmness is often as much about mechanics as it is about chemistry. Years of sitting at desks or in cars, reduced activity after retirement, or the slow erosion of coordination that comes with age, all of these factors chip away at the pelvic floor's strength. Surgeries, especially those involving the prostate, can interrupt nerve pathways that once fired without hesitation. Even something as simple as the way you sit, stand, or move each day can either maintain or diminish the responsiveness of these hidden muscles. The good news, and it is truly good news, is that muscles, no matter how long they've been ignored, can be retrained. The body remains astonishingly adaptable well into the later decades of life, provided you give it the right stimulus in the right way. A fascinating study published in 2005 in the respected journal BJU International tracked men with mild to moderate erectile dysfunction over several months. Without changing their medications or adding any new drugs, they followed a targeted pelvic floor training plan. By the end of the study, over 40% had regained normal erectile function, and another 35% had seen meaningful improvements in firmness, control, and satisfaction. That's 3 out of every 4 men seeing tangible results, not through chemistry, but through the simple act of strengthening and coordinating muscles that had been neglected for years. And the improvements didn't stop at sexual performance. Many also reported better urinary control and a stronger sense of core stability, benefits that ripple outward into daily life in ways that are easy to overlook until you feel them for yourself. The difference lies in something called venous occlusion, which is essentially the body's way of keeping blood inside the penis once it's there. When the pelvic floor muscles are strong and responsive, they act like a seal, trapping the blood under pressure and sustaining that full, firm state. When they're weak, the seal leaks, blood leaves too soon, the pressure drops, and the experience is cut short. Over time, that reduced pressure also changes the way your size appears, not because the tissue has shrunk, but because it's no longer filled to its maximum capacity. Imagine inflating a balloon to only half its potential. The material hasn't changed, but the shape and presence are undeniably different. Restoring that fullness is not about adding something artificial. It's about reclaiming what your body is already capable of producing when given the right conditions. The first step to restoring this function is understanding that your pelvic floor is not an abstract idea. It is a living, working part of your body that you can learn to feel and control. Many men discover these muscles for the first time through a simple test. During urination, gently attempt to stop the flow midstream. The subtle lift and squeeze you feel is the pelvic floor activating. This is not an exercise to repeat regularly. It's only a way to locate the correct muscles before training them outside the bathroom. Once you recognize the sensation, you begin to understand that these fibers are under your direct command. You don't need a gym or equipment to work them, and unlike heavy lifting or long cardio sessions, they can be trained discreetly, anywhere, at any time. The key is consistency, not intensity. In fact, overexertion can be counterproductive, leading to tension or discomfort rather than control and strength. What matters is that you give these muscles a reason to respond and coordinate more effectively. Imagine a lock and key that have grown stiff with disuse. A few gentle turns each day restore smooth motion, but forcing the mechanism only risks damage. The pelvic floor thrives on measured, deliberate engagement. Begin by sitting comfortably or lying down with your knees bent and feet flat. Let your abdomen relax. Take a few natural breaths, allowing your chest and belly to rise and fall without strain. Then draw up and inward with the pelvic floor as if lifting something inside, holding for a slow count of 5. Release completely, letting the muscles soften and rest for another count of 5. This release is not a pause, it's half the training, teaching your body the difference between tension and relaxation, so that when the moment matters, you can summon exactly the right amount of force without locking up. 6 to 10 of these slow holds make a solid foundation. From there, you can begin adding quick pulses, brief, 1-second contractions followed by full release. These mimic the rapid firing of the pelvic floor during arousal, conditioning the muscles to respond instantly. You might feel a subtle bounce or lift with each pulse. That's the reflexive strength returning. Even if the contractions feel small or weak at first, the brain-muscle connection is being rebuilt with every repetition. Spread these sessions throughout the day rather than performing them all at once. A set while you read in the morning, another as you watch television in the evening. This approach not only makes the practice easier to stick with, it also ensures the muscles are gently reminded of their purpose at different times, keeping them ready for action. Some men find it helpful to integrate the activation into everyday movements. Rising from a chair, climbing stairs, or lifting a light object from the floor, each can be an opportunity to engage the pelvic floor for just a second or two. These functional cues teach the muscles to switch on without conscious thought, so that during intimacy, they respond naturally without you having to focus on them. Over time, this automatic recruitment is what transforms training from a mechanical exercise into a seamless part of your physical identity. In my years of working with patients, I've seen the transformation this simple discipline can create. One gentleman, aged 68, came to me after years of relying on pills before intimacy. He worried about the side effects and resented the feeling that pleasure required a prescription. We developed a short daily plan, slow holds in the morning, quick pulses before bed, and light activation during his walks. After about 10 weeks, he told me he had gone through an entire month without reaching for medication once. His words stuck with me. I felt like I was in charge again. It wasn't just about erections, it was about ownership of his body, a feeling that had been slipping away with each passing year, and was now firmly back in his grasp. The path to improvement is not an overnight sprint, but many men notice subtle changes sooner than they expect. In the first week or two, you might feel more aware of the muscles, able to engage them on command without recruiting your thighs or abdomen. By the 3rd or 4th week, the holds may last longer with less effort. Around the 6 to 8 week mark, men often report that erections feel firmer, last longer, and maintain a more youthful angle. By the 12th week, the difference can be profound, not only in physical performance, but in the mental ease that comes from knowing your body will respond when you need it to. One of the most encouraging truths about this practice is that its benefits rarely stop at sexual performance. The pelvic floor is part of a larger system of muscles that form the foundation of your core, working in harmony with the diaphragm above, the deep abdominal wall in front, and the muscles of the lower back behind. When this foundation is strong and responsive, the effects ripple throughout your body. Men who commit to a few minutes of pelvic floor work each day often notice they stand taller without effort, as if the spine is naturally supported from the inside. Lower back discomfort, so common in later years, can ease simply because the body's central support column is no longer overburdened by weak, unresponsive muscles. Bladder control is another area where these improvements shine. Many men over 60 begin to experience slight leaks when they cough, laugh, or lift something heavy, but accept it as an unavoidable part of aging. In reality, a more resilient pelvic floor can dramatically reduce or even eliminate these episodes. I recall a retired teacher in his 70s who came to me initially for sexual health concerns, But after 8 weeks, what he talked about most was how confident he felt leaving the house without worrying about sudden urges or accidents. It's easy to overlook how much mental energy goes into managing these quiet inconveniences until they're no longer part of your day. The circulatory benefits are worth noting as well. Regularly engaging the pelvic floor encourages healthy blood flow in the lower body, not just to the penis but throughout the pelvic region. This improved circulation can aid tissue health, speed recovery from minor injuries, and even reduce that heavy, sluggish feeling some men get after sitting for long periods. It's a reminder that the body doesn't compartmentalize improvements. Strength and mobility in one area can influence the vitality of the whole. For men who have undergone prostate surgery, pelvic floor training becomes even more critical. These procedures can disrupt the normal nerve and muscle coordination that supports both urinary control and sexual function. While recovery can vary, many regain significant function through patient-consistent training. I've seen men who were resigned to permanent changes in their intimacy and daily comfort find themselves steadily regaining abilities they thought were gone for good. The look on a man's face when he realizes his body is more capable than he believed is one of the great rewards of this work. But perhaps the most transformative aspect of this discipline is the confidence it restores. Performance issues often create a silent feedback loop. Worry about firmness leads to tension and distraction, which further undermines the body's ability to perform. Breaking that cycle requires more than wishful thinking. It requires a tangible change you can feel. Each time you notice a stronger contraction or a longer hold, you're not just training muscles, you're training your mind to trust your body again. That trust changes the way you approach intimacy, making it less about anxiety and more about connection. It's also important to recognize that this is not a matter of brute force. The pelvic floor is a subtle, precise set of muscles. You're not aiming for the strain of a heavy lift. You're aiming for control, coordination, and endurance. Just as a musician practices scales to build agility in the fingers, you're practicing deliberate movements to build agility in the muscles that support some of the most important functions of your life. And like music, the more naturally and automatically you can play these notes, the more confidently you can perform when the time comes. Once the foundational routine feels natural, the real potential lies in gentle progression. Muscles respond to challenge, and the pelvic floor is no different. The goal is not to work harder for the sake of effort, but to gradually increase the time under tension and the responsiveness of these fibers so they can perform flawlessly in any situation. For longer holds, you might extend the contraction from 5 seconds to 7, then 10, always ensuring you can maintain the lift without recruiting your thighs, buttocks, or abdomen. The increase may seem small, but for these muscles, that extra second or two is like adding weight to a barbell. It deepens the demand and builds lasting strength. Equally valuable are the quick contractions. Think of them as sprints for your pelvic floor, training it to fire instantly and relax just as quickly. A sequence of 10 rapid pulses, followed by a few deep breaths, then another set, builds reflexive strength that serves you in moments of excitement when control matters most. These pulses teach the muscles to respond not only with power but with speed, ensuring that the seal they create to keep blood in place can be engaged at exactly the right moment without delay. Functional integration should also become part of your day. This means activating the pelvic floor during movements that are already part of your routine. Rising from a low chair, climbing a set of stairs, or even stepping out of your car can be opportunities to cue those deep muscles. This kind of training ensures that strength is not just present during practice, but is seamlessly woven into the way your body operates. When a skill becomes automatic in daily life, it becomes automatic everywhere. Over time, you may choose to layer in what I call combination holds, pairing pelvic floor engagement with deep abdominal activation. This creates a column of stability through your core, further improving posture and supporting the spine. Many men find that this not only enhances physical confidence, but also reduces fatigue during physical tasks. The stronger your foundation, the less strain is placed on your back and hips, allowing you to move more freely and comfortably. It's worth emphasizing that rest is as important as work. Muscles grow stronger not in the moment of contraction, but in the recovery that follows. Overtraining the pelvic floor can lead to unnecessary tension, which may cause discomfort or even hinder performance. A balanced approach, brief sessions a few times per day with complete relaxation between them, produces the best results. This isn't a race to see how much you can do, but a steady, thoughtful investment in function that will serve you for decades. And while the physical gains are clear, the emotional ones often feel even more profound. I think of James, a 72-year-old who told me he had stopped initiating intimacy altogether. He simply didn't trust his body to respond, and the fear of disappointment outweighed the desire to try. 3 months into a consistent, progressive routine, he not only reported stronger and more reliable erections, but spoke about the renewed closeness with his partner. "It's not just my body that's changed," he said. "It's the way I see myself." That kind of transformation reaches far beyond the mechanics of muscle and blood flow. It touches identity, self-worth, and the quiet pride of knowing that age may shape us, but it does not have to define our limits. When you step back and look at what just a few minutes a day can do, the scope of the change is remarkable. Strengthening the pelvic floor restores your body's ability to trap blood in the erectile chambers, giving you a firmer, fuller appearance that's rooted in your natural physiology, not in illusions or quick fixes. The lift becomes steadier, the stability more certain, and the control over timing returns like a trusted friend you thought you'd lost. All of this is achieved without pills, without prescriptions, without the chemical side effects that can weigh on both body and mind. It's a return to function built on your own effort, using muscles you've carried all along. These gains don't stay confined to the bedroom, they show up everywhere in your daily life. You might notice yourself standing taller without trying, moving with more assurance, feeling confident in social situations without worrying about unexpected bladder leaks. That ease in your lower back as you rise from a chair, that steady energy as you go about your day, these are the quiet victories that add up to a life lived without hesitation. Independence, dignity, and comfort become the natural side effects of a body working as it was meant to. There's also something deeply empowering in proving to yourself that meaningful change is possible at any age. Each contraction and release is more than a movement. It's a statement that decline is not the only direction time can take you. With the right knowledge and consistent practice, strength and control can be rebuilt in areas you may have thought were gone for good. This isn't about trying to be 20 again. It's about showing up for the life you have now, equipped with the vitality and capability to enjoy it fully. The men who see lasting results are not those who train with a burst of enthusiasm and then stop. They're the ones who treat these 5 minutes as part of their daily self-care, no different from brushing their teeth. They weave it into the fabric of their lives, understanding that small, steady actions compound over time into results that feel both natural and lasting. And when those results arrive, it's not luck, it's the reward for showing up for yourself, day after day. Improvement here often carries into relationships too. When you trust your body to perform, intimacy becomes less about worry and more about connection. It opens the door to closeness, to affection, to shared moments that strengthen the bond with your partner. These are benefits you can't measure with numbers, but you'll feel them in every interaction. So here's the truth. The years ahead will bring changes you can't control, but in this one area, you have the power to decide your future. You need only a few minutes, a bit of focus, and the willingness to take that first step. The rewards, physical, emotional, and relational, are worth every moment you invest. If this message has inspired you or given you new insight into your own health, take a second to subscribe to Everyday Ageless so you never miss science-backed strategies that keep you strong, confident, and thriving at every stage of life. And I'd love to hear from you. Share your thoughts, your questions, or even your own experiences with building pelvic health in the comments below. Your story might just be the encouragement someone else needs to begin their own journey. Remember, age may write the chapters, but you still hold the pen.